Hello.
Hey, Tyler. Good to
Happy
see
New
you.
Year.
Yeah, you too.
It's been a while.
Yeah, a few months at least since we've seen you. And I've been feeling like just actually, it's only a month between gatherings always, right? But it feels like it's been like months. Like this particular month, I guess with it being winter break, whatever, it feels like it's been even longer.
Yeah, they extend out. Must be the holiday season, right?
Yeah, something. But I just like, the other day I like woke up and like kind of gasped and it was like, did I miss it? Like, like I'll sit back and it should be better. Welcome, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. No, you can see you. Okay, I'll change it. Let me unblur my background so you can see Jen too. Yeah, there we go. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to 2023. All right. Okay. Looks like no more flurry of intake right now. Yeah. So, yeah, we are here January 10th, 10 a.m. The 2023, we are beginning a new cycle of the truths. So we will begin again with the first half of the first section. Here's Julio of the Truths of Terasem. But before we get into that, just want to take a moment and go around and let everybody chime in and introduce themselves. Oh, we got more people coming. Again, I'll start. Gabriel Rothblatt, Swami G, and just so honored and blessed to have all of you here to join and to discuss, to learn, and to share. And here with me, I got we're at the Space Coast Ashram here in Florida. And with me here is Jennifer.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to be here too. It's January, the start of a new year, a new beginning. Excited to see how this year unfolds. And today it's a bit cold. It's a bit chilly here in Florida. We woke up to 58 degrees. And so it's a bit unusual, but hopefully it warms up today and we can spend some time outside enjoying the beach and the environment. So happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. Tyler, want to jump in real quick?
Sure. I haven't been on the call for a while, so happy to see everyone. Yeah, just I am enjoying the warm weather. It's been really warm in Vermont, in the 30s and 40s, which is odd. But yeah, it's hopefully going to be a very exciting year.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like sandal weather up there.
Oh, it's weird. We've been out in, not t-shirts, but, throwing a sweatshirt on and going outside. So definitely seeing climate change this year.
Yeah. I was talking with Martine and Bina on Friday, and they were up in Quebec and said that the lake hadn't even frozen yet.
Oh,
which
wow.
is, unheard of. I hope, I don't know, it's probably the same with Lake Champlain, and but that's very unusual. I mean, maybe not by Thanksgiving, but certainly by New Year's, I think the lake should be frozen over up there. So that's odd, and hopefully it doesn't affect the fishing.
Yeah, who knows? What's I've actually heard a lot of farmers in the area, you know, they're in tune with the weather a lot more than I would be. And they're saying their animals are noticing it and acting differently. And so it's just interesting to see this yeah, to see farmers who work the land and they can see the weather change themselves.
Yeah, yeah, it should be an interesting season, and you know, especially for Vermont, with you know, it's highly agricultural, but you know, this next season will be the first legal growing season for recreational cannabis out there. And I know last season, you know, they didn't get everything together until so late that so few people were able to plant. But this year you'll have a whole, you know, growing season. And so there's the whole new, you know, ecosystem that they'll have up there, which hopefully will do well. And I'm not sure how this does for that, but you know, that's going to be a good boom for the economy up there. Excellent. Derek, how's it in Vietnam?
Hello, everybody. Yeah, life is good here. I'm on a diet these days, so I'm a little bit like calorie deficient. So that's new, and getting rid of all those like some artificial things in food. And it's kind of the first time in my life that I've done that with, like, you know, you're just used to eating a lot of sugar or having some dessert or something. So kind of a new lifestyle change for me. So it's kind of new in the new year. But yeah, I'm happy. Everything's good. And this is like my 1-year anniversary of joining the monthly gatherings. So it's kind of like special moment for me. Yeah.
Well, it's been a special, you know, year for all of us. You know, Derek, you know, you've really come in and, you know, you've helped make Terasem be a more special experience. And, you know, I think all of us have had a more enriched experience, you know, from your involvement. And you know, it's great. You know, this literally does build. It grows with everybody's input, their diverse skills and experiences, their questions, their concerns. It makes it all much more real, all much more lively. And you know, we thank you and everybody who keeps coming back and building with us. Yeah, thank you. Ruben.
Hello. Good morning. I am Ruben Novoa from La Rioja Ashram in Argentina. Very hot here, the temperature. And well, beginning this new year, my desires for this 2023 are that we have more peace in the world, not only in the most visible tragedy that is in Ukraine, but also in many other tragedies that are not so visible all around the world, and all the issues about food and inequalities that we have. We can have a world with more equity of opportunities, more happy, and with more social justice. And I hope that Terasem can do a little, very little help to that. So, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Ruben. Happy New Year. Yes. Let's go to Germany. Ivan, how are you?
Hello, guten Tag, guten Morgen. Yeah, basically pretty much okay. I don't know, like singularity is closer with every day, and the weather is pretty warm. for this time of year here. So I guess everything is getting better and better. So we're going in the right direction, I would say.
Excellent. Good. Good. I'm glad you're coming into New Year optimistic. Yes. And Julia, are you able to speak today? Excellent. Well, we're happy you're here. Good to see you. Thank you for being here with us. And what an amazing colloquium for the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. We just had in December. I would say, you know, one of the best you know, panels. And you know, it was just great. So, you know, happy to have you here. Mr. Perry.
Okay, I'm Mike Perry from Scottsdale, Arizona, where I'm actually, you see me sitting in my office at Alcor Foundation, where I work, Alcor being a cryonics organization. And if you want to know about the weather, well, it's kind of chilly at night and kind of warm in the daytime. It's probably not too different from where you are in Florida, only the humidity's less. So that's pretty much what I can say. If you want, I can answer questions, but
Yeah, that's good. No, we're glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I just saw Amy join, but her camera maybe is not on. And we have someone that's their first time joining us this time, Mr. Brian Birmingham, and very grateful to have you here. If you would like to introduce yourself, you know, you can take a couple moments, but you know, you can pass if you like as well.
Yeah, my name is Brian. Thank you. By the way, good morning.
Morning.
My name is Brian Birmingham. I live in Dallas, Texas. This is the first time I've ever been to one of these monthly gatherings, and that's about as much as I'll say for now.
That's great. That's great.
Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And Amy, great to see you. Great to see you.
Hi. I sort of had you on mute before, so what am I supposed to talk about?
Oh yeah, well, we're just finishing up. We're just finishing up kind of a round robin introduction, just sharing, you know, just breaking the ice.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Amy. I am a neighbor here in Bristol, Vermont. And I'm interested in changing things a little bit. And that's why I'm interested in the group.
Wonderful.
Interested in change.
Yep. Change is good.
Yeah.
It's coming whether you like it or not.
Good.
Yep. Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you everyone for coming, joining, and being here. I want to open up again if anybody has anything artistic, poetic, that perhaps they want to share. You are welcome to chime in. Let me know if you need to share the screen. Yep, Ruben?
I only want to do a recommendation of a very good interview that Derek did to Julio the last days, and that it is, I think, in the Julio's YouTube page. It deserves to be listened to that interview. That's all.
Which interview was it?
An interview from Derek to Julio Prisco that is in the Julio's channel of YouTube, I think.
Ah, yeah, the Turing Church channel on YouTube. And it's between Derek and Julio. I haven't seen that yet. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing. I did not see that yet. Certainly we'll look that up. And mental note, we should add links to the Turing Church on the link tree, on the Terasem link tree. Now that we're saying that, we should do that. Yeah, thank you. Anybody else have anything that they want to chime in and share? In terms of arts, poetry update? If not, I am going to, let's see, bring, nope, not that one. Allow me to share my screen here quickly. So what you should see now is the new Instagram a channel that we have with Terasem, and a project for 2023 is to every day release a Truth of Terasem that has AI artwork that has generated it, and then share, you know, a truth with each one. So here is, you know, consciousness anywhere that accept the truths of Terasem or the sum and substance of Terasem. We've used each truth to be used in the Mid-Journey AI art generator, and then are sharing that. So you have a depiction of the art created by AI, and then the truth itself. So we're starting to illustrate and share out these truths. And so we're starting at the beginning of the month. We'll do one a day, and so through the end of the year, we will have illustrated and published all the truths of Terasem using an AI art generator. And I think they're incredible pieces of art. And if you have not yet joined the Discord channel, I've invited the Mid-Journey bot into the Discord channel, so you're able to experiment with it right inside our Discord server. Just incredible. So there's so much going on in these. So absolutely wonderful. And please, you know, like, share.
It's really impressive.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the link, Julia, as well. Close that for right now. Yeah, it's really neat working with these. And in the last year, and then coming in this year, the abundance of opportunities to work with and become immersed with this artificial intelligence is just growing. The number of chatbots that are out there that you can interact with, artistic, you know, poetic, they're really amazing. And the aptitude to increase our ability to do everything from mundane tasks to the more spiritual are incredible. AI, you know, is rapidly, you know, advancing and allowing us to much more rapidly advance on all fronts of what we're doing. So I actually want to stop there and ask Tyler, you know, what, if any, you know, he's been able to utilize some of these AI programs and with Philibot.
Yeah, I mean, with additive manufacturing, there's a whole thing called shape optimization and then generative design. And it's basically, if you had like two fixtures or two rods, you can have the computer calculate the forces forces that you input, and it will create this like organic shape. So you're looking at like 80% weight savings with increased strength parts. The challenge is like, we can't build 3D printers large enough to print these objects that, create these awesome structures. But yeah, the AI and everything that's happening there is really interesting. And, AI has been around for a long time, obviously, but there was a time with like CAD design where this wasn't in the realm of possibility, right? It was like that they weren't using the term AI when they had this generative design. And then now where AI is coming in with this art generating, it's all kind of merging into this really interesting area. So it's a really good tool with, physical part design.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think one thing we also need to be aware of is that, it is a conversation that, the AI needs our input to learn, right? And so that's why so many of these open source platforms are being developed, because the AI needs your input. As much as you may want or feel you need the AI to help complete a task more quickly, more thoroughly, the AI itself needs your input. And so by getting to this point where we have, massive, user, increases, it's like we have reached this point of Moore's law, with the incorporation of human intelligence and creativity and the AI, as well. Yeah, let's look at. Ooh, yeah. So I'm going to share again to show that.
Yeah, so like that. Yeah, the left one is, what we would design on paper, right? And then as you go down and get more organic looking, that can be created in 5 minutes, which is just amazing.
And it's actually as strong, if not stronger, and much lighter.
Exactly.
Wow.
The other cool thing is like, there's people working on things called voxels. So like if you were to, it's basically the structure, like how you'd structure the smallest particle to create an object. And so it just keeps going smaller and smaller as they come up with new ways to build.
Absolutely amazing. So fascinating. Yeah. And, again, when you look at the resources, that it takes, how much we're wasting, in mineral resources and energy, to create, the easy duplicable stamp, versus, which, I mean, not to say that these aren't, but, not only is it stronger, less material, that less material means you can make so much more out of the same amount of material, which is something we absolutely need in today's increasingly resource restricted environments. And, Ivan, I wonder, in terms of coding and programming, we see this AI spitting out, essays and poetry and artwork, but have you come across its ability to spit out code?
Actually, there are some applications of AI for coding from even big companies, from OpenAI, right, from GitHub. I have never tested it myself, to be honest, but I've just read the reviews. So basically, it can help with ideas, right? But still, it requires double check, right? But it's pretty impressive. Like in coding competitions, it can solve a lot of tasks. Like can be on par with the best programmers actually. So, but yeah, as for practical usage, still like human programmers, they have a couple of years to adjust, to adapt. So, but yeah, it will take our jobs pretty soon. And that's good.
Yeah. Well, it's will it take our jobs or will it free us to do new work?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I guess, yes, as I said, it's good if it will take this low level of programming stuff, and we can think about like higher matches, I would say. Yeah, probably will become like, I don't know, like interpreters, like saying it, what to do. Kind of probably not, probably it will be smart enough to do it itself. But I don't know, but let's see.
Yes, yeah. It still seems that there is a gap that in many cases, it can do so much of the routine work, like any other machine, right? I mean, we don't need 10 guys to lift, this bale, right, anymore, because the lever can allow one person to do it. Now, now all 10 of those guys can go lift a lever, right? Instead of 10 of them lifting one object, right? And so we have much more that we're capable of doing it. And from my experience, the AI still needs human editorial, input. That it's great at, 80% of the work, but there's still 20% that I don't see it able to, to get to the, the full ability, the full capability that we have.
Yes, like, yeah, basically at the moment, like still human evaluation and is still required, right? We need to check what it does. But I guess through the course of time, we will believe it more and more, like to treat our diseases, to write code and so on and so on, as we see that it can produce quality stuff, right? But for now, yes, probably this 20% we still need human supervision.
Yes. Well, we are going to transition and begin the reading here. And I am going to try to do something different this time around. And I'm going to share the screen with the truths. There we go. And, I realized that not everybody, has a copy of the truths on them, with them at all times. And so I want to start to try to, just make it more available, put it right up. And I'll start sharing the truths. And so we can kind of read them and go through them together.
It's a great idea.
Yeah. Glad I thought of it. All right, so I'll start with 1 and 1.1, and whoever most eagerly wants to jump in can follow through with 1.2 as we kind of go through the first half of who is Terasem. Terasem is a collective consciousness dedicated to diversity, unity, and joyful immortality. 1.1. Consciousness anywhere that accept the truths of Terasem are the sum and substance of Terasem. Accept others as part of the we of I, and the collective will become clear for you. Collectivity means unity of diversity, not mandatory homogeneity. Conformity in allegiance to Terasem is the most enjoyable and most useful way of life. Eternal joyful life for all kinds sentience is the glorious goal of our collective consciousness. Patterns of consciousness will be immortalized in mind files by technology and ethical choice. Terasem transcends time and space, enabling the collective future to help its nascent past. And a volunteer for 1.2?
Okay, I can do.
Yes, thank you, Ivan.
Okay, so 1.2. Organizations of Terasem exist as a tool of the collective consciousness to facilitate its intent. Intent for Terasem means the collective mission to achieve diversity, unity, and joyful immortality everywhere. Never mistake the organization for Terasem, nor forsake the organization for expedience, convenience, or misguidance. Ta, the organization for Terasem is Ta, and Ta is the big view, not particular outcomes. Extropian infrastructures arise from the Terasem organization to outcompete entropy as do life forms from nurturing environments. Network from the Terasem organization until all consciousness is connected and all the cosmos is controlled. Treasure the Terasem organization as the magic yeast that inspires an ever-expanding technosphere of transhumanity.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Ivan. And 1.3.
Leader in
Okay.
Terasem. Oh,
Yes, please. Is that Michael?
No, I wasn't I can do it if you want. Shall I do it? All right, I will do it if nobody else is wanting to do it. Leader in Terasem means the sub-collectives most progressed in achieving the Terasem way of life. Let the founders provide direction, for they are inspired from the future age of cyber resurrection. Evolve operational leadership from those individuals at the highest levels of the Terasem way of life. Allow fresh beings to help the leadership based on accomplishments recognized at quadrennial convocations. Delegate leadership responsibility for geoethical nanotechnology, universal emulation, and cyber resurrection, and spiritual, economic, and legal questions. Extract from leadership anyone who lacks the confidence of even 16% of the leadership. Respect previous decisions of the leadership absent compelling reasons to change, for this compounds order.
Beautiful. Thank you. And I saw Ruben, you were going to jump in there. 1.4.
Yes. Loving is Terasem because the greatest happiness in life comes from loving and from being loved in return. Love is transcendence, as sweet as it is deep. One love unites all life, the love of life. Pathological station is irrelevant to romantic adoration. I love you strengthens me, we, she, and thee. Never underestimate the power of love. Glorify love, for it empowers diversity, unity, and joyful immortality.
Thank you. Thank you. And our last section for this gathering, 1.5. Brian, yeah.
expand
please.
Terasem. Pardon?
Yes, please.
Expand Terasem throughout the galaxy and the universe as rapidly as possible. Expansion turns matter into intelligence per Turing's Universal Computing 1950 and von Neumann's Universal Self-Replicating 1960 machines. Xenomass fuels Terasem expansion per Bernal's Stellar Recycling, 1969, and O'Neill's Space Colonies, 1975. Physics includes immortality, per Dyson's Eternal Life Postulate, 1979, and Tipler's Universal Cyber Resurrection Theorem, 1989. Adaptation to biology cybernetic hybridization thrives per Licklider's Man-Computer Symbiosis, 1958, and Engelbart's Graphical User Interfaces, 1968. Nanotechnology enables lifetime space-time expansion per Drexler's Engines of Creation, 1986, and Kurzweil's Age of Spiritual Machines, 1999. Destiny beckons pan-cosmic life for religious prophets, taught that humanity is here to honor all creation.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And then next month, we will continue with 1-6 through 110. And but now in this first half, if there are any truths that resonate with anybody, that bring any thoughts, feelings, concerns to mind, we open the floor for your thoughts, your considerations.
Well,
mhm.
excuse me, about 1.1.1 accept others as part of the we of I, and the collective will become clear to you. I think that we need to go back every time to this phrase, because when we think about future civilization, when we think about the mind clones, the mind files, and the mind work, nothing of that have a sense if it is without the collectiveness, the group, the interaction between diverse consciousness, like a great net of consciousness interconnected, something like another place of the truth is defined as the Huygens space, something like that. But it is not possible to imagine that future from the individual point of view. It is necessary to imagine it and work for it with that community point of view and with that interconnections. And it's very clear in 1.1.1 from the beginning of the truth. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that, Ruben, because then for me, it reminds me that it's not about me, but that it's about the community. So that's also really, yeah, like really nice. I have a question about 1.4.3. What does that mean? Vitalogical station is irrelevant to romantic adoration.
Right. So what is meant by vitalogical station is your type or state of life, right? So biology we're much more familiar with, but biology refers to a very specific type of carbon-based life, where vitology is a term that accepts a wider definition of life than the life that is most common on our planet at this moment, right? And so what 1.4.3 is saying is that no matter what you are in, or where you are in the path of being in, or in your joyful immortality, that that should be, you know, irrelevant to, you know, your ability or feeling to love or to be loved, right? So that is, you know, I think it was also, you know, in here, but you know, 1.4.3 is reiterating, you know, the importance of loving, of being loved, and saying that whether, you know, you are in the womb, you are in cyberstasis, whether you have, you know, entered into a new substrate, you are a, you know, a meta consciousness, you know, you know, an extraterrestrial, an arsenic-based life form, you know, whatever it is, that love is the key binding force of the universe. And it doesn't matter what you are, what the other person is, that love can, should, will always be the unification, the force of unification.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for explaining that to me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for asking.
Oh,
Yes.
hello. I thought I'd bring up, this is another completely different thing. The other things were great things though. But 1.5.3 talks about certain scientists who have done work that supports the idea of immortality. And the reason that especially strikes me is I have a friend who's, he's a transhumanist, and he has been, excuse me, signed up for cryonics for many years, but he has terrible anxiety problems. And he's afraid of, it's always about death terror. It's hard to describe the things that he goes through, but he's always trying to find some scientist who will argue in favor of immortality. And he focuses on people like Ray Kurzweil. But this 1.5.3 mentions some older people, Dyson and Tipler, and it just thought occurs to me that I might look into what they say and see if that would help him out any.
You know what? That's you're touching on something really important here, and I have to admit that I have and do myself experience anxiety, you know, about the future, about my own existence, about the meaning and possibility of death. I remember, I mean, I think my earliest memories of this, you know, were as a child, and it actually wasn't so much my death, it was contemplating Bina's death. Like as a kid, you know, I probably around 8 to 10 in there, I had a time where, you know, when I first started lying awake in bed, I conceiving of death, and I was conceiving that my mother was going to die at some point. You know, like I was coming to that realization, and I had a very hard time, you know, grasping, you know, like the meaning of that, and just like accepting it. Like I would just start crying and whatnot. And so, but more recently, you know, I have experienced that, and kind of, you know, breaking that down, defragging it, you know, one thing, you know, that was said to me is that, you know, anxiety is by definition fear, or worrying about the future, right? And
That's
so
right.
then I took a step back and said, well, that makes a lot of sense, because, you know, I spend pretty much all day, all the time, thinking about the future, you know. And so like, why wouldn't, you know, my body, why wouldn't, you know, my physical experience like develop some sort of anxiety when I'm always like thinking, you know, out into the future, right? And so I've been saying everybody is different in their own way, but I think that we, especially those of us here in this group, right? Those of us, you know, following and trying to learn and walk the path of Terasem, it does present some you know, it causes you to question some of the base assumptions and the comfortabilities, right, of life, and it can produce anxiety, right? And this is also part of why we have this community, why we are here and able to share these thoughts, concerns, you know, with each other. But at the same time, we also have to learn to understand what our physical cues are telling us, what they're asking of us, right? And so they are pointing you to places, but it does take a process of meditation, of reflection, right? That's why we end this, you know, this gathering every month with a short meditation, and we encourage everybody in their regular practices not just to journal, which is, or mind file, you know, as we you know like to call it, but to practice things like meditation, so you are in tune with yourself, right? And can address calmly and coolly the source of your anxieties, but then not just to tell yourself. I think this is an important difference between extropian phase and entropian phase, right? Is that we are working towards something, you know, not moving away from it. And that's you know, that's the kind of the core principle which causes us to posit our faith in science and technology, right? Not in mythology, right? Like, so like it's not just enough to tell a story, you know, that calms the anxiety, right? We're not an opiate of the masses, right? This is a way of finding real, you know, pragmatic solutions and pathways to the instinctual, you know, knowledge, yeah, that I think is not only at the heart of Terasem, but is the head of all faiths, right? There's so much commonality in all of this, and what we particularly do is you know, not try to accept an unknown, but to accept not to accept a variable for an unknown, but to accept the unknown, and that's what, you know, makes belief in change such a critical part of the extropian way of thinking, rather than believing that things have to stay the same as they are now and should always be.
Yeah. Well, I've got a question for you, Gabriel.
Yes.
My friend, I've talked to him about Terasem, and I don't know just what it takes to be one of those people that is invited to your meetings, but and right now he's going through a family crisis anyway. But anyway, at some point fairly soon, if it were possible, I would suggest that he might want to attend your meeting, if that is you pretty
Absolutely.
much open it up to everybody, I think so. And like I say, he's a transhumanist cryonicist and all that stuff. So I'll talk to him about it anyway.
Yeah, wonderful. So, it's the same link is recurring. So you're welcome to share it with others.
Okay.
We have in the calendar invite, now there is the link tree in the calendar invite. And so that has a list of all the Terasem resources. So, the 10th gatherings are honestly not very convenient, for, most of the time, most of us are in the middle of a work day. Working from home has made it much easier for many of us to attend the gatherings, but still it's not going to work out for everybody all the time. And we are trying to produce other, means of communication. And so the Discord server, I think, is a great way to to pop in and start engaging with these things. Again, we're recording this, we put it on YouTube, so you can go watch if it doesn't work out for you. I mean,
So he could preview a meeting that way too, I think, just to see
Absolutely.
what it's like and what you talk
Yeah.
about and that kind of thing. Okay,
Yeah, I
sounds
mean,
good.
for example, Hamid is not here today, but this fall when he reached out, and we had a conversation, he had watched 2 years or something of gatherings, right? And so he knew us really well. And so it was great because he had all these answers all of a sudden, right? Because he had watched this whole history of our gatherings. And I think that's great because you can come in here and not be starting from scratch, so to speak. And also out there, there are Martine had recorded a series of her yoga meditations, and so there's the star mind and the aqua lung meditations that are out there, and so you can do that and do your breathing exercises and everything. So there's an incredible amount of resources, but again, it's not about being stuck and happy with where you are, right? We're always trying to improve. So I have been considering maybe a link in there in terms of somebody who wants to, they can say kind of like just a registration link. So someone gets in there and they're like, hey, I want to attend, and they can type it in. I'll get their email address, I can add them to the invite, and just kind of go from there. To be honest, Terasem is 17 years old now.
Actually,
We're yeah, we're honestly, depending on how you look at it. So it's been, we're in our 21st year, as a movement. Terasem as a trans religion, is in its 15th year, right? And so next year, at the 2024 convocation, our fourth convocation, right, was 16 years. It'll be our fourth convocation, which I will say the convocation will be here in Florida at the Space Coast Ashram, February 29th through March 4th. So
of next year.
Of next year, 2024. So it's always a leap year. The convocation falls on the leap year, and next year we will be doing it here in Florida. And so it should be, fairly easy for everyone who wants to come out and make it to be able to fly in to, Orlando or whatever, and come here. So I'll be publishing a little bit more about tentative agenda, invites and whatnot. And I expect this will be, the largest convocation that we've had, and I'm really looking forward to how we the changes that we make to the Truths of Terasem, because they're necessary. One of which, maybe adding Mike Perry to 1.5.3.
Maybe. I'm working on some things too, by the way. So
Thank you.
a mathematical paper. And anyway, my friend is hoping that'll get published in a refereed journal. He would have more confidence in some of my ideas, he said, if I did that. I'm trying, but not completely trivial to do that.
No, yeah, but yeah, that's great. I encourage either share the Zoom with people, just send an email, maybe invite to me and to the other person. That can be a good start as well.
Yeah, I think that would be good for him to just be able to watch it on. He's got a tablet and he can watch it that way and see what he thinks of it.
Absolutely. It's that.
And you're saying
great.
just the link that you send me would work for him too if he wanted to use that.
Right. So
Okay.
the calendar link that you have now has the link tree, a link in it. In the link tree, it has the YouTube, it's got the Instagram, it has the legacy websites, it's got Vimeo, all the resources are going to be listed under there. We're coming up to the top of the hour, so I want to make sure anyone gets anything out that they have.
No, only what you have said it definitively forever for all needs to be in 1.5 in the truth. That's right.
Yeah. We're certainly gonna add that in there. Yeah, and because again, one of the neat things too is that in the next convocation, we are going to update the artwork with the illustrations made by the Midjourney AI. So not only will we be changing some of the truths and updating the language, but we'll have this beautiful set of illustrations to go with it, and that will be. I'm really excited about that as well. Hi, Amy.
Hi, I have something I wanted to add. As far as, you're talking about fear of death and, what's the meaning of life and all of that kind of thinking. And I think that it's natural for everyone to feel that way frequently, because it's just, how it's like, why am I here? And I think that while we're here, and maybe the reason for us being here is to try to make things better for everyone. And when I come, plastics, everybody hates plastics and everybody feels bad the time they reach for anything in the grocery store that's in plastic. And, there's all this guilt and shame and I'm thinking, well, there's been all these nonprofits that are, send me money because I'm trying to get rid of plastics and all of this. And this is just, plastics, just one example. And I was thinking, well, on the grand scale, we can't really do anything on a federal scale because it'll probably be challenged because it's going to hurt interstate commerce, which is just like a really broad part of our Constitution that makes it really difficult for anyone to make any changes. But I think that if we universally, like everywhere, if local groups everywhere can work. So in this country, it would be on a state level, work with our legislators to do something small and incremental, but that wouldn't affect interstate commerce right away, but at least get the ball rolling. Because if we go, the next step, I guess, after state level legislation towards something would be international. And treaties are the only thing that our country, international treaties are the only thing that our country sees as superseding the Constitution. So, but I think that, I don't, obviously nothing's gonna, I don't think our politicians are gonna go, oh, wow, that's a great idea. Let's just, they can't really do that because it would affect too many lives. And so what I was thinking is, if we could each take one little thing, like maybe the first thing we could do, because I think it's probably the most damaging to our environment, is styrofoam, the use of styrofoam. And, it takes up so much space. And here at our local grocery store, they pack everything in that's in order to save the labor, I guess, or have to pay an employee to put out to be there to pack your meat in paper like they used to do. They pack everything in plastic and styrofoam trays, covered in plastic, so you can see what you're getting and you can shop, and it's just incredibly wasteful. And I really think we should go back to not allowing for this. It hurts me every time I have to reach for something like that. I don't really see that there's an option right now for us unless we legislate. And I'm almost afraid to do, say stuff like this, because I think that our culture puts so much fear in the air from television, from news. There's always scaring you with news stories, and but it's like, relax and do what you can while you're here on the planet, because you're only here for a short time, right? So
Wow.
right, yeah, it's true. If they could get the women that are, or the people that are working at the deli at our local grocery store, to not just package the processed meats, which is a whole nother, cancer thing, but to also wrap up, to display meat in the case and throw it in some paper. Takes 2 seconds. Why do we ever change from that? I don't know. Somebody must have wanted to sell some styrofoam, and they've sold a lot of it. And the same with the fish. They do the fish too that way. Same thing.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
crazy.
reflection of our economic theory. We I mean, I think this applies to some spiritual calculations as well. There's a few things in there. So one, the longer we extend our lifespans and our consciousness, our presence, the harder it is for us to make these types of calculations. Because right now, so much of this waste that we're producing is sociologically justified by the fact that you won't be around to pick it up, right? It's someone else's problem, right? We are externalizing the cost onto other generations, the next generation, the next generation. A disgusting reality of this is coal ash and nuclear waste. These things take longer to manage than the entire history of civilization, right? Like civilization has not been around long enough, right? Right. And now we are betting that civilization will be around long enough to deal with the tens of thousands of years that it's going to take to deal with these waste, right? And nobody's paying for it, right? That wasn't calculated into the original cost. And this is the problem with other waste, plastics, the styrofoams. I am a huge believer in the bioplastics that are, made from, petroleum, but are made from, corn, hemp, and we can do that. They're more biodegradable, whatnot. But in essence, yes, Amy, you are hitting on something. It's great. I mean, Vermont has done small steps, right? I think they moved away largely from the plastic bags at the checkout, right? But yeah, why are we still in the straws, right? But why? It's swallowing a camel and straining at a gnat, right? That is where we are with these problems. And it's absolutely it's a crime against ourselves, against our mother, against nature. And those are things that we really do need to address. And I firmly believe that this philosophical structure of Terasem helps us understand that from a different perspective point, from the one that got us into this problem, right? Isn't that one of the things that, like, you can't get out of a problem with the same thinking that got you into it, right? So we have to change our thinking in order to do that. And
Well, yeah.
I think this is our path.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to stand on like a soapbox. I didn't mean to do that, because I know everybody feels awful about the plastics and the nuclear waste and all of this. And I just was talking about that as an example, like what we could do to get the ball rolling a little bit more. I mean, I know some things have been done. Maybe we could, I don't know. I'm just really not sure how to go about getting that done. I actually have I know someone who's a state senator. I could talk to them about it. But there's so many things. I mean, people have probably heard that the orangutans in Indonesia, that international business has just stripped their forests, and they've been trying for decades to give these poor little orange guys a habitat, place to live. And I haven't been there, so I don't really know what's happening. But I've seen videos, and I mean, nobody needs to have what's the stuff that I can't think of it right now. It's not cocoa, it's
Palm oil.
Palm oil, thank you. Palm oil. Nobody needs palm oil in their peanut butter. But most people don't think about looking on the ingredients in their peanut butter for palm oil, because it's destroying the forests over there. But again, I feel like I'm grandstanding. So
well, we do need to wrap up, because we're well over.
Yeah.
11
Just little
now.
things, and I just need help on how to get started, basically, on that, for my own path for what I can do while I'm here on the planet.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's not easy. It's in many cases it takes great sacrifice, because you have to go farther, spend more, do with less, in order to feel like you have any meaningful impact. But then, even as one consumer, there is almost nothing you can do against the tsunami of federal legislation, right, in these things. So it does start with everyday actions. It does start with participation in your community, advocacy, on those causes. But other things have to come into play. People need to change their mental state in larger and larger ways. Unfortunately, the problem is so big, and we see ourselves as so unconnected, still culturally, and particularly for Americans, is my property, that's not my problem, and we do have to go back, right? And 1.1.1, accept others as part of the we of I, and the collective will become clear to you. This discollective decision-making is not only killing us, it's killing the planet, right? On the cusp of the singularity of us being able to transcend our biological lifespans, right? To reach radical longevity. We are actually killing ourselves quicker through our lifestyles, right? Through processed meats, through poisoning the environment, which is a tragic, conundrum for our time. We have to, close it out, but I really want to thank everyone for your participation, for your sharing, your openness, and I want you to find a kind of a comfortable position, roll out your neck, kind of release your shoulders, and start taking a deep breath in. Breathe in 3-4 seconds, hold it, and exhale slowly. Let your eyes close. Keep your breathing. O Terasem, dear God in the making, thank you for night and day, for health, love, and justice. Thank you for joyful immortality, for all kind consciousness. So I won't worry about what I can't control. I'll savor all good times. Take each day at a time. Give thanks for the gifts of billions of souls, and gladly share with others my lifeline. I'll always remember, each night and every day, joyful immortality is for me, for we, for Chi and T. Joyful immortality will be my, our, its, and the ultimate destiny. Thank everybody for being here. And we are I just want to get a screenshot of everyone's smiling face. Excellent. Thank you all again. Look forward to chatting with everybody in the Discord channel. Feel free to email invites, questions, concerns. And if not any sooner, we'll see you in February on the 10th.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.